There's a moment in life where everything feels too loud, the expectations, the comparisons, the timelines people try to hand you. And in that noise, it becomes so easy to lose sight of the one thing that truly matters to you. I've learned that focusing on yourself isn't an escape, it's a return. A return to the person you were before the world tried to tell you who you're supposed to be. And that journey, that quiet, personal, beautiful journey is where you start winning. Focusing on your own growth is one of the most powerful life-changing commitments you can make. Because at the end of the day, no one is coming to save you, fix you, or carry your dreams for you. It sounds harsh, but it's actually incredibly freeing when you really understand it. There's a moment where you realize that your progress, your healing, your success, your confidence, your transformation, all of it is in your hands. And that's not something to be afraid of. That's something to step into with strength. When you finally accept that your growth is your responsibility, you stop waiting for someone to push you, validate you, motivate you, or rescue you. You stop expecting people to magically understand your potential, and you stop feeling disappointed when they don't. Instead, you learn to rely on yourself. You learn to push yourself. You learn to believe in yourself, not because someone told you to, but because you know deep down that no one else can live your life for you. It's easy to think the right person, the right opportunity, or the right timing will suddenly appear and make everything fall into place. But real growth doesn't work like that. It requires you to show up even when the timing feels wrong, even when life feels heavy, even when you feel unsure. Growth asks you to move even when you don't feel ready. It asks you to keep choosing the version of you that you're trying to become, not the version you're trying to leave behind. And yes, it takes courage, it takes discipline, it takes emotional honesty, but imagine how powerful you become when you stop waiting and start acting. Once you realize your growth is your responsibility, you start paying attention to the quiet choices. The ones that don't seem huge in the moment, but shape everything in the long run. The choice to get back up when a plan fails. The choice to walk away from people who drain your energy. The choice to work on your craft when no one is watching. The choice to speak kindly to yourself instead of tearing yourself down. These small decisions become the building blocks of the person you're becoming. No one else can make those choices for you. No one else can put in the hours. No one else can heal your wounds. No one else can carry your ambition. People may support you, cheer for you, or guide you. And that's beautiful. But at the end of the day, you're the one who has to take the steps. You're the one who has to face your fears. You're the one who has to decide that your future matters more than staying comfortable. There's a quiet empowerment that comes when you realize you're responsible for your own growth. You stop giving your power away. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. And you start creating your own momentum. You start building habits that make you stronger. You start surrounding yourself with people who elevate you. You start trusting your instincts more, and slowly, without even noticing it at first, you begin to evolve. Your growth won't always look glamorous. Some days it feels lonely, confusing, or overwhelming. Some days you'll question whether you're moving forward at all. But every moment you choose yourself, every moment you decide to keep going, something inside you strengthens. You become a little wiser, a little braver, a little more grounded. And the version of you who once doubted everything begins to fade. Taking responsibility for your growth doesn't mean you have to do everything perfectly. It means you stop giving up on yourself. It means you own your story. It means you recognize that you have the ability to rewrite your life at any time. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't need someone else's belief to validate your own. You just need the courage to begin and the determination to continue. There is a stronger version of you waiting on the other side of consistency, self-respect, and focus. And she becomes real the moment you stop expecting others to shape your life for you and start shaping it yourself. When you truly understand that your growth is your responsibility, everything changes because you stop surviving and start becoming. Focusing on yourself is one of the most misunderstood acts in the world. People often label it as selfish, distant, or self-centered. But the truth is the complete opposite. Focusing on yourself is the foundation of becoming whole, becoming grounded, and ultimately becoming someone who can actually show up for others. When you choose to prioritize your own growth, wellness, and goals, you aren't shutting the world out. You're building the strength you need to engage with it more fully. It's like learning to breathe before you try to save someone else from drowning. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't become the best version of yourself if you're constantly sacrificing your own needs to meet everyone's expectations. There's this moment in life where you realize that giving too much of yourself away or spreading yourself too thin only leaves you feeling empty. You start recognizing how often you've put yourself last to keep the peace or to make other people comfortable or to live up to the roles they've placed you in. But life isn't meant to be lived on autopilot or for the approval of others. And the moment you turn your focus inward, you start to feel what real alignment actually is. You start noticing what feels right for you, not what looks right to others. You begin reconnecting with the quiet parts of yourself that were drowned out by noise, opinions, or obligations. And that's when you begin to grow. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean abandoning everyone. It means honoring your own boundaries. It means saying yes to the things that help you evolve and no to the things that drain your energy. It means trusting your intuition even when other people don't understand your choices. It means recognizing that your mental peace, your dreams, and your emotional health matter as much as anyone else's, if not more. When you focus on you, you learn to respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, everything around you begins to shift. You start choosing relationships that feel safe instead of chaotic. You start prioritizing routines that build confidence instead of insecurity. You start investing your time in things that grow you, stretch you, and challenge you. You stop living life on reaction mode and move into intention mode. And this is where winning begins. Because winning isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about being better than the version of you who once settled or hid or doubted herself. It's about stepping into the life you were meant to live instead of the one you felt pressured into maintaining. When you focus on yourself, you reconnect with your goals. Maybe you've buried them. Maybe you've ignored them. Maybe you've been too scared to chase them. But the moment you refocus, those dreams start to breathe again. You start taking small steps. You start seeing progress. You start surprising yourself with how capable you actually are. And little by little, the world stops feeling like something that's happening to you and starts feeling like something you're actively shaping. There will always be people who misunderstand your self-focus. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're distant. They'll say you're different. And the truth is, you have changed. You are different. But that's what growth looks like. You're not here to stay the same just because it makes others comfortable. You're here to evolve into someone who chooses herself with pride, not guilt. It might feel unfamiliar at first. You might have moments where you question whether you're doing the right thing. That's normal. Growth always feels uncomfortable before it feels empowering. But over time, you'll notice that focusing on you gives you clarity. You make decisions more confidently. You stop shrinking yourself. You stop tolerating things that don't align with your values. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop accepting less than you deserve. The world becomes quieter in the best way. Your vision becomes clearer. Your energy becomes stronger. Your purpose becomes louder. And when that happens, life begins to move in ways that reflect your inner work. You start attracting better opportunities, better relationships, better experiences, not because you got lucky, but because you made space for them, because you did the work, because you chose you. And that is the essence of winning, becoming someone who can look in the mirror and say, I didn't abandon myself. Focusing on you isn't selfish. It's necessary. It's transformational. It's the difference between existing and living. And when you commit fully to your own growth, nothing can hold you back from the life you're meant to build. Consistency is one of those things that doesn't always sparkle on the surface, but it quietly transforms everything underneath. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, and it doesn't always feel exciting, but it is the most reliable path to achieving anything meaningful. Consistency beats talent every single time talent chooses to stop trying, because talent without effort fades. Passion without discipline fizzles out. But consistency, steady, committed, patient consistency builds a foundation that nothing can shake. There's this idea people hold onto that success comes from big, dramatic leaps. But the truth is, success grows from tiny choices repeated day after day. The small actions you commit to when no one is clapping, when no one is watching, when no one even knows what you're working toward. Those choices are what shape your future. It's not the spark that matters most, it's the flame you keep alive afterward. Consistency requires a certain kind of self-respect. It means you believe your goals are worth showing up for even when you don't feel motivated. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes, often without warning. But commitment is something deeper. It's choosing to follow through because the future you want matters more than the comfort you feel right now. And every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, you build trust with yourself. You start to feel stronger, capable, grounded, and that inner confidence becomes one of your greatest advantages. It's easy to admire people who seem naturally gifted or effortlessly successful. But if you look closer, the ones who truly make it, the ones who stay strong, stay relevant, stay fulfilled, are the ones who kept going long after the excitement faded. They kept practicing. They kept learning. They kept refining. They kept showing up on the days when they were tired, unsure, overwhelmed, or invisible. Consistency doesn't require perfection. It only asks that you don't give up. There will be days when you feel slow, days when your progress feels microscopic, days when your steps forward seem too small to matter, but they do matter. Every step counts. Every repetition builds strength. Every attempt sharpens your skill. Every act of discipline rewires your mindset. Even when the results aren't immediately visible, something inside you is changing. Something is growing. Something is becoming unbreakable. You're not just building success, you're building character. Think about the alternative talent that burns bright but dies quickly because it wasn't supported by effort. You've probably met people who were incredibly gifted but never followed through. They start things passionately but abandon them as soon as they get bored or discouraged. They rely on talent alone, not realizing that talent can take you far, but consistency takes you farther because consistency creates momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs. Consistency is also what carries you through fear. When you get used to showing up regularly, you stop letting doubt decide your next move. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop avoiding the work. You stop seeking shortcuts. Instead, you build this quiet strength, a kind of inner muscle that knows how to endure. You start trusting the process. You start trusting yourself, and that trust becomes the engine that drives you forward, even when life tries to slow you down. The beautiful thing about consistency is that it doesn't require giant steps. It only requires steady ones. You don't have to transform your life overnight. You just have to move little by little with intention. 5 minutes of effort is better than none. 1 page written is better than a blank document. 1 workout is better than a week of excuses. 1 honest reflection is better than ignoring your growth. These small acts add up. They become habits, and habits become identity. You slowly evolve into the kind of person who follows through, who doesn't quit, who keeps rising. Consistency also protects you from comparison. When you're focused on showing up every day, you stop worrying about who's ahead or who's behind. You stop trying to match someone else's timeline or pace. You learn to appreciate your own progress, your own rhythm, your own path. And that's where real freedom begins. At the end of the day, consistency is the real secret to winning, not because it makes everything easy, but because it makes everything possible. It teaches you that success is not a moment. It's a commitment. And once you choose to stay consistent, you become unstoppable. Not because you never struggle, but because you never stop. Your future isn't shaped by the big moments people see. It's shaped by the small, quiet choices you make when no one is watching. Those decisions, those private, unglamorous, deeply personal moments are what build the life you eventually walk into. The world gets to see the results, but you're the only one who knows what it truly took to get there. And that's what makes this key point so powerful. The future you want is born out of the discipline, honesty, and intention you give yourself behind closed doors. When you're alone with your thoughts, your habits, and your choices, you show your real priorities. You reveal what you're truly committed to. You discover what you're willing to work for, even without applause or validation. Anyone can look focused when people are watching. Anyone can pretend to be motivated when they know they'll get praised. But real growth doesn't happen under a spotlight. It happens in the dark, in the quiet, in the moments where quitting feels easier than trying again. And this is where your strength is either built or broken. The choices you make in private matter more than the ones you make in public. Because they're honest, they're not filtered by pressure or expectation. They're not performed for approval. They're real. When you decide to keep practicing, even though no one is tracking your progress, you're shaping your future. When you choose to study, train, journal, reflect, or work on yourself instead of avoiding the uncomfortable truth, you're shaping your future. When you choose not to settle, not to make excuses, and not to repeat old patterns, you're shaping your future. Your future self is always watching, and she's always affected by what you decide today. Think about the moments where you're tempted to procrastinate, ignore your goals, or distract yourself. Those moments may seem harmless, but they accumulate. They become habits, and habits form your destiny. The same is true for the positive choices, the small steps, the tiny wins, the effort no one recognizes. Those actions also accumulate, and they slowly build the life you deserve. This is why the quiet choices matter so much. They're the purest expression of who you're becoming. When you choose discipline over comfort, you tell yourself that your dreams matter. When you choose healing over avoiding your pain, you tell yourself that your peace matters. When you choose honesty over denial, you tell yourself that your growth matters. When you choose effort over excuses, you tell yourself that your future matters. And the more you make choices that honor your potential, the more you evolve into someone who doesn't break under pressure, who doesn't fold when things get hard, who doesn't lose herself in the noise of the world. The truth is, life rewards the quiet achievers, the ones who didn't look like they were winning at first, the ones who didn't brag, didn't rush, didn't demand recognition. They just kept working. They kept believing. They kept choosing the hard thing over the easy thing because they knew what they wanted long before anyone else could see it. And eventually, everything they built in private becomes undeniable in public. People call it luck. People call it overnight success. People call it natural ability. But you'll know the truth. You'll know it came from every quiet moment you refused to surrender, those mornings where you dragged yourself out of bed, even though you were tired, those nights where you stayed focused while everyone else was distracted, those decisions to keep going even after failing, those boundaries you set to protect your energy, those goals you kept believing and even when no one supported them. All of it counts. All of it adds up. All of it becomes your future. Your life is being shaped right now, not by what you show the world, but by what you choose when the world isn't looking. Every time you choose alignment, consistency, integrity, effort, or self-respect, you step 1 inch closer to the life you've been dreaming about. So keep going. Keep choosing what's right over what's easy. Keep building yourself in the quiet, because one day the world will see what you created, and they'll have no idea how many silent victories it took to get there.